Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. Today's sewing tutorial is on how to sew a corset using customized bra cup. This bra cup is not the same bra cup for lingerie. I'll be using corset pattern I made earlier, and I'll be dropping the link in the description section below, so you go ahead and learn how to draft the full basque corset pattern. So you go ahead and learn that. For today is going to be a sewing tutorial, a full sewing tutorial on how to sew corset with bonings, and you can also adapt with it on how to sew your corset top without boning. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the tutorial. So I'm working with the patterns I cut out from a previous video I made. I'll be dropping that in the description section, and I will link it up here so that you see it. So this is the front, and this is the customized bra cup that I'm using. I have interfaced this with you can interface with any lining, pepper gum, or gum, hemming gum. Then also this I interface with paper gum stay. So this is the back, and that's the lining with it. This is the sleeve. You know, that's how the sleeve will be on the corset. For the customized bra cup for the corset, I'm using this bra foam. It has no interfacing on it, so I'm going to be showing you how to go about that later. So first of all, let's start making boning channels for the corset. We have this boning. I have the Ridgeline boning and also the plastic boning. Any type you feel like using, you're free to use that. So I will decide later which one I will use among the two of them. For boning casing, I'm going to be using the normal bias tape, and I'm going to be showing you how to, use it, and also your boning will be easily inserted into the boning channel. So don't worry, let me just keep this aside and make the boning channels for this beautiful corset that we are making. So first I'm going to close this center front seam to make a channel in the front there. I want a boning channel in the front. It makes your corset sit properly on your body. Now pay attention to how I'm going to be inserting these boning channels with the normal bias. You can actually, decide you don't want the the channel to be shown, or if you want the boning to be shown, you can bring it to the front, whichever way you want it to be. But you have to pay attention to what I'm going to show you, how to make our normal Nigerian bias, the small one, to half-inch bias, to be enough for your boning channel. So I am going to be turn up your bias, open it up, and sew at the tip like that. At the tip, when you have opened it up, you sew at the tip that way. When you open it up, you sew it at the tip. You know how the bias has two mouths closing it. I don't know how to explain it. So open up one side and sew at the tip of it, not on the groove. So you make sure you follow your fashion line where you want to insert your boning. You just follow it all the way down. Yeah, once you're done with this, you turn your bias, turn it close and sew on at the tip of the boning channels. Don't draw it to make it bigger. No, just allow it to relax the way the bias is and you sew it at the tip. If you do that, you will notice there's a space once you're done, and that will make it easy for your boning channels to enter very neatly, and still your boning channel is still looking very small. I hope you understand. When you're doing it, you will understand what I mean. So you repeat this for all your boning channels, both the boning channels that are for fashion line or the ones that you're going to be really inserting your boning into. So you go ahead and do all of that. You see, I will insert my channel. You see my boning, how easy it is. It enters so easily. So next I am going to be closing my lining. Before I do that, I will be inserting the sleeve. So I'm going to pin it here, and so that it will be easy for me to close my lining. So the center seam, I'm going to sew it close just like I did in the main fabric. Do that, iron it out. Make sure you iron it out on your with your machine. So I will sew it like that and top stitch it for a neat clean finishing. You go ahead and iron it out. Next is to sew the back. So the back, I didn't want to have the upper side to be illusion, so I'm going to have my channel just half of it. So that's how I'm going to be placing my boning channel for the back. I don't want my channels to be shown in the front, so I'm going to you know insert my boning channels like this. So you go ahead and insert it on the both sides, both pieces. Next is to prepare for the customized bra cups. Now I told you it doesn't have interfacing, so I'm going to be using hemming gumming for this. So you have to watch what I'm going to do. So let me start with one of the half of the cup. Yeah, so you carefully follow this so you don't mess up your patterns. So I'm going to place the hemming gum on it like this to give it that gumming effect. And when I'm done doing it like this, I'm going to be adding the fabric I'm using on it. And you iron it on it. I have left all this excess so that I'll be able to get the allowance I need for the bra corset. So you trim down the part that doesn't need seam allowance like so. Always make sure that they are equal. So on this side it doesn't have seam allowance. I'm going to trim it off and leave the side that needs seam allowance, which is the side that is going to your side seam. You just keep watching as I'm making it. You go ahead and make that on all your cup pieces. When I'm sewing it, you will understand where you need to add the sewing allowance to and where you will not add it. So follow it while I'm sewing it. So for you to do this, you turn your machine stitch to the zigzag stitch, increase the length because we are going to use zigzag stitch to close this. You can double stitch it. If you feel it's too light, you need more stitches, you double stitch it as you want. Just feel free and go ahead and do that. You see, so you know the side that needs this side, you know the side that needs sewing allowance, so you know the side you're going to leave fabric for your sewing allowance. So you see how nice the cup is. So you go ahead and stitch, you turn back your stitch allowance to normal and sew the lining for the cup, and then you go ahead and turn your cup with the lining piece. Top stitch it for a neat clean finishing. See how it is. You go ahead and give it a good press. Make sure to use your tailor's ham for this part of the ironing. That's what would mold your bra cups. Trim off any excess if you have any excess. See how nice the bra cup is. So we are going to be inserting this into this place. So with the right side facing together, you just sew it along all these places. So I'm going to be sewing it now. Just take your time and do this. No hurry. Corset making is not that easy, so you take your time. But once you have your corset pattern in place, you should have been able to through your pattern, your corset pattern, and it would come out neatly like this. Make sure to watch the video on how I drafted this pattern, how I drafted this corset pattern. So you go ahead and insert your boning into the corset. Yeah, so once you're done with this, you decide on what you want for the lower part. You want to join it to a skirt, or you want to, end it here. So you end it with your bias and do it all around. And that's it for today's video. Thank you. See you in my next video.